Joining us now, the Consul General of Poland, Maciej Golubiewski. It's very good to have you on the show, sir. I guess, first of all, explain to you how you think these developments with Poland will help ultimately with the American relationship with NATO.
Well, first of all, Poland forms a very important part of NATO, the so-called eastern flank. With aggressive actions of Russia in the past few years, we all know, starting in Georgia, later on, prophetically as President of Poland, late President Kaczynski, Russia moved on with aggressive actions to Ukraine. Eastern flank was weakened, so we are playing catch-up in NATO. So strengthening Poland is strengthening the region, strengthening the Central European region of NATO. Polish President visited Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary of NATO, a week before coming to DC, and introduced the framework of the agreement, and Stoltenberg was very clear in saying that the more American troops in Europe, it's good for NATO and it's good for all of Europe. So the security link between the United States and Europe is vital and continues to be vital. The United States is still the sole guarantor of security in Europe.
Boy, you know, it's very interesting. Donald Trump has been skeptical of American troops going overseas, but this Poland move actually does make an awful lot of sense. It is always, Poland is, as you said, is the eastern flank of NATO and is really sort of the tip of the spear. Is President Trump and are the people of Poland trying to send a message to Russia that further aggression in the East, in Eastern Europe, is a non-starter?
Absolutely. As I said, we started with our own president, late President Kaczynski, in 2008, when he was in Tbilisi, when the Russian troops were standing right outside the capital of Georgia. He said, look, now it's Georgia. A few years later, it will be Ukraine, and maybe later the Baltics, and then maybe Poland, even my home country. So we are very, very glad that finally we'll have those troops present. And yes, this is a signal. This is a signal that Western Europe does not end in Germany. The borders of the West shift a little bit more to the east, and that enduring presence of American troops, if the president signed the agreement today, will ensure and will send that very clear signal to Russia, I'm sure.
You know, Willie, during the crisis, many people around the table were asking, the crisis in the Ukraine, the invasion of Crimea, were asking what in the world Barack Obama could do, and some suggested actually send more American troops to Poland. Yeah. For every troop that was sent into Ukraine, send an American troop to Poland, not to be provocative, but just to show Vladimir Putin that if he was trying to flex his muscles for support at home, it was going to backfire.
Yeah, and that's why we're expecting today, and perhaps you can shed some light on this, that there may be 1,000 more American troops sent into Poland in that agreement. There has been talk, a request from Poland for a permanent army brigade and a base that would be built there. President Duda even suggesting it could be called Fort Trump, perhaps. Do you expect this presence to continue to grow beyond today?
Yes, this is the beginning of the process. President Duda was very clear when he was in the interview a few days ago that this is the beginning of the process, the new beginning, the opening of a certain cycle. We are starting with enduring presence. There's a commitment that American troops will stay and continue to stay in an increased, quantitatively increased fashion, but also qualitatively. We're talking about enhancing various capacities for American troops as part of NATO in Poland. But those discussions will follow. So the presidents today hopefully will sign the political agreement, the joint declaration, but also a kind of a framework agreement with components of what that means. The symbolic Fort Trump is basically a code word for a large qualitative increase of that American presence. And in the months to come, not years, but in months to come, there'll be more working group level discussions between the Ministry of Defense, advisors from the President's Chancellery on both sides, to hammer out the details and kind of set the path forward for even more.
Given the activism of Putin's government over the recent past, has the impression of the United States of America among Polish people, has that been altered? Has it changed?
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
Given Putin's activism and the danger that he presents with Russia, has the view of the United States among the Polish people, has it changed? Has it altered? What is it?
The view of the United States among Polish people, given Putin's actions.
Yes.
Well, Poland has always counted on the United States as a kind of, as I said, the United States remains the sole guarantor of security in Europe. So Poles were always very keen to have American presence in Europe. So, and this is a bipartisan issue. So I think when Poland looks to the United States, it doesn't look just one administration or the other. This is, as Senator Vandenberg said, you know, this is politics stops at water's edge. We always thought that American presence in Europe is bipartisan, is within the long-standing transatlantic framework, and Putin's actions and Russia's actions, in a sense, prove that America's presence in Europe is to the increased the urgency in the eyes of the Polish citizens of some concrete steps and measurable steps, which now translate into what hopefully will be an increased presence of American troops within NATO in Poland.
The Consul General of Poland, Maciej Golubiewski, thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
Thank you so much.
That does it for us this morning.
you.
Stephanie Rule.